Hello, we are back for episode 3 of Brave Talk. Melissa, how are we feeling today?
I am great. I think we are slowly starting to get the hang of this. So I feel like we're getting a bit more comfortable just chatting to each other like we normally do, but now being recorded.
Get up.
Exactly. I thought today would be really great to kind of talk about what we are really up to right now and kind of what's next for us, what we're excited about, just because we have been doing more than just the book that we wrote in 2022. We've been doing a lot of other stuff, but we have some exciting stuff. Years and years. The joke with us is everything takes much longer than we ever anticipate, and we should just anticipate it's going to take much longer, but that we are constantly getting comfortable being uncomfortable with trying new things, the length of time it takes to get things done, the learning curve.
I think the beauty of it, though, is if we actually knew how long it would take to get things done, we'd probably be a little dissuaded. Actually, like, some of the beauty is in the fact that we're just naively going into this and being like, yeah, we could give that a try. Why not?
I think it was really like hammered into me at a young age, like you can do anything that you put your mind to it, and that you just have to keep working at it, keep working at it. And so it's almost par for the course. You're like, yep, if anything's worth doing, it's gonna take time, and that's okay. Like, doesn't mean it stops you. So I think that's what we try to instill in our kiddos too. It starts with a step. Bravery, growing takes time. And over time, we see change.
And speaking of time, so in terms of conception to actually on the shelves from a publisher, Bravery Grows took 2.5 years, was it?
2.5 years with the publisher, yes.
Mm-hmm.
For us to do it ourselves took 7 months, I'd say. And then, us distributing, going to schools, just really doing that kind of outreach, figuring out how to get it out there in different countries, till we ultimately were able to find the publisher to help us launch Bravery Grows 2.0 in different places, and hopefully it'll be picked up and translated. I think that was the big goal for us, was to have translated versions of it available for the countries where they don't have providers necessarily, but also just access to the books in English. So that's our hope still. I think as we create more books and they're the proper length and easier to take to market, I think that'll be easier going forward. So I think that's probably what we're most looking forward to, is actually getting some more books out there that have some utility for families and teachers and for the kids to see themselves.
We spend every day together in the clinic, but we also then put aside time to kind of invest in our projects, our labors of love, on a Thursday evening into the wee hours sometimes. And we've been writing. We've got some stuff in the bank that we're quite excited about. It's kind of goes alongside Bravery Grows. I don't know if we want to talk a little bit about that or give us little hints into what we're doing there.
I think the idea was that we wanted to create a set of stories where we are covering different situations that we actually work on with our kiddos. So it has a lot of utility in terms of these are areas where we know we have to focus on brave talking. And it goes from first day of school to birthday parties to holidays to going to the doctor, all sorts of things that we have worked on and created plans for or supported kids in over time. So again, using language that we use, but really bringing in the emotions and the feelings that go along with it.
And our dream for this is, right, that caregivers can kind of pick one out if they're facing that scenario with their child and use it as kind of a prep or a guidance tool for them to guide their child through that difficult situation. So that's something that we've been spending quite a lot of time on and hope to kind of develop soon. As we said, everything takes a little longer than we think it's going to take, but we've got some in the bank now, and we're excited to kind of get those moving. Our time has also been spent on another big project, and I think a lot of our problem is we have so many wonderful ideas and so much limited time. It's where do we shine our spotlight on what we think is kind of the most relevant and important, and what we think is going to be most helpful, especially to you guys out there, or some people that don't have access to support or care, or are thinking, how do I best support my child, and kind of I'm stuck, and what do I do? And so we've spent the best part of a year developing the next thing, which, Melissa, give it away. Drum roll, please.
I feel like it's more than a year, actually. It's probably a year and a half. Daisy and I, in our moments of brainstorming, were like, wouldn't it be great if there was a journal that accompanied Bravery Grows, where we can build the habits in there, but we could also have information for how to set goals and how to complete exposures, with some scripts included, and, you know, really having this theme of different mantras throughout that would really guide the journal. And our joke is that, you know, we work with children who struggle to get out the words, and we have too many, which is also why this took so long to do, is because it was a beast, and we had to call it down to something a bit more palpable, because otherwise you'd be having a tome with you on your nightstand for your child, and no one would ever finish it. But we're excited. We're actually doing it as a journal, as a print on demand, meaning you order it, and then they'll print it up. So that way it's really accessible to anyone who has access to Amazon and can get it, which I think is fantastic for us in terms of that outreach. But it's something you can do with your child, something that prompts discussions. I think it looks beautiful. We had someone wonderful who really helped us with putting together the aesthetic, who was fantastic. And she's now in graduate school, but she was a massive, massive help. And we have a little preview. This is not the final. We actually just submitted the final, but so it's going to be the Bravery Grows little journal, and it's a hardcover book. And what we really love about it is it's really on brand for us in terms of inside. But my favorite ones is something kids want to see. Great little illustrations in there, and
so sweet.
It's really beautiful. We really hope it's helpful. I think the scripts are just a wonderful way to model to families what it is that we do, how to set it up, using all our characters from Bravery Grows, so from our amazing illustrator as well. She helps give us some of those characters, and part of our development of the next books is to use some of the characters that were inside Bravery Grows who weren't introduced yet into the stories. So, and we have a lot of psycho ed in the back too for to provide that visual support too.
So
our
this
goal is really to reach out to people.
Is so important for us, that because it's so kind of heavy and we had to cut down so much, and there's so much intention behind it. When we were sitting down, we really wanted it to feel like it was something that you kind of went through, and the challenges got harder each week, or more challenging each week, as we went on. So it felt like you were kind of growing with the journal, and as such, we basically wrote so much psycho ed in the back just for parents or caregivers, so that you guys feel like, hey, I feel confident using this as a tool, and I'm taking the right steps alongside my child to help them be as successful as possible while completing this. But again, like for us as well, it was really important that the aesthetic be on point, because we want kids to love it, and we want them to want to fill it in and follow along with it, and feel like it's a really useful tool and it's an exciting and fun thing to do. So instead of just challenges, there's moments for reflection and brave badges that they can collect, and all sorts of different activities and coloring sheets that they can do. But we really wanted to make it versatile and kind of keep that element of surprise going through it, even though they're doing hard things as they go.
We really wanted it to be something they wanted to pick up, and they were excited to color in, which is not something you get to do with a lot of your books, is to color it and fill it out. But I think journals can be such a special practice to instill, especially for reflection, but also for you to use as an outlet for talking about what feels hard, and that's problem solving for how you want to handle it, or even prompting discussion. And the fact that even if they're really little and they're not quite at that stage yet, it's a way to be talking to your child and be scaffolding them, to be thinking about, oh my goodness, you did so well with this week. That was something that was new. What else can we take on? And I think we really want it to be a book of celebrations and reflections, even if it misses the mark of where they initially thought they were going to be. That, was there progress made? Was there a step in that direction? Was it even just thinking that it was a possibility, as step one? And that's a great place for it to start. Really focusing on the positives in general, in terms of progress is not immediate. It's made over time. It's made with steady practice. It's habit forming, but it's also relying on your support system around you to help you out.
Yeah. And there's so many different places for them to kind of reflect on those small little steps that they've taken as well, and whatever that might look like for them. So, filling out, what brave thing do I want to do this week? What might be tricky about it? What might I do if a problem arises? Kind of tackling that problem solving head on, but in a collaborative approach where they feel supported by their caregiver, and then can make those steps and then can reflect, okay, each month, what are the brave things that you've managed to do this month? And that's just for them to be able to complete this journey with this journal and then look back at all of those steps that they've made, for us was really important, because it's about, again, acknowledging those small tiny steps that are made over time that add up to these huge leaps in progress that we don't necessarily maybe notice or see happening, but are really important to acknowledge.
Absolutely. I think we just want to help as many people get this out there so that they have access, really removing those barriers of just being able to find the one specialist, but the language, sharing some of the techniques and some of the know-how. I think that's the whole purpose of this. I did have one amazing thing that happened last weekend when I was in Singapore, which was really unexpected. When I was there, someone knew I was coming who works at a different company than my husband does, who had actually purchased Bravery Grows in Singapore and was so excited to have it, and actually brought it when I met her, just to say, she's a parent who's really been advocating for her child with anxiety, and just how special the book was and how it was very relatable for the child, and her daughter was able to say, "That sounds like me, Mommy." And she used this book to share with the school and try to educate teachers. It was one of those moments where, we don't even realize how far our reach can be, and in unexpected ways. And just, parents who are really trying to advocate for their kids. And sometimes they have to be the ones who are helping to educate the teachers in what is anxiety and what their kid is like when they're not in school. Here's a story that really talks about what the struggle is like. It was really just a very meaningful moment. I wish you would have been there with me.
I'm so happy to hear it, though. It's so wonderful to just even, you talk about that impact that you don't even know. And I think as well for us, when parents say, oh, you know, my kid could really resonate with the girl in the story, or like felt like I said, hey mummy, that's how I feel. I think, and we talk about representation in a broader sense all the time, but especially for these kids with SM, or particularly anxious, seeing that representation is so important. And even using it as a tool in the classroom to normalize or open a discussion for other kids, I think we've seen has been really valuable, and we've got feedback that that's been really valuable. And so for us being able to bring this journal into the world just adds to that as well, like that reach, that representation, and the people that we would love to see but can't because we're halfway across the world or whatever it might be. This is really our dream.
So we hope to have it actually in our hands soon, the official copy, when it's all done. I think that's going to be a very big day for us. But slowly we're ticking through that list of projects that we have and things we want to do together, which I think is just really special for us to be able to do that, and just to see that these late nights and see each other during the week, that it does have an end result, that people can see the fruits of our labor, and that we're just excited to help everyone realize that everyone has bravery to grow.
So we would love to get questions from you guys. What are you guys struggling with? What is your child maybe struggling with? How can we help you? So please contact us on Instagram, let us know your questions, and we'll get to addressing them in the next episode.
Cannot wait. Hope to see you there. Bye.
All right, bye.